What's up, Jolt Radio? This is Emily Soleil here with PBnJam episode 10. I was thinking about this today. Episode 10 started this in June last year. Can't believe it. Monthly schedule, haven't missed a beat. And, this is a place where we just come. We're in the kitchen, right? PBnJam. We're having good conversation, talking about things that we care about, learning about different people. I've really been on like a founder's kick, and just learning about people who make an impact in the community. So that's what we're doing once again today. So thank you so much for coming back to PBnJam, everyone. Today, I have the honor and pleasure of having a friend, a colleague, a super talented person here with me by the name of Alexa Lash. She is a multi-hyphenate. She is a musician, singer-songwriter, artist, and an event and community curator. She actually just came from playing a gig at St. Patrick's Day. Woohoo!
Hey!
Alexa, where's that Irish accent?
I know, exactly. We're going to be doing this all day.
Well, she is, because I'm not good at it. I can give you like an English accent, but like Irish, I'm not very good. We're both a little bit Irish. My last name is super Irish, Cleary. I know.
I'm a quarter.
Okay, and Alexa's a quarter Irish, so we have a lot to celebrate. Alexa's got the makeup on. Like I said, she just came from gigging at an Irish bar, doing her thing. So, Alexa, thank you so much for coming on PBnJam. So happy to have you here on Jolt Radio.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I have so much that I want to ask you today. We're going to talk about her music and songwriting, her inspiration, how she curates events and things like that in community. And of course, we'll do the rapid fire at the end. And I have a couple of oddball questions for you that are kind of like rapid fire. And naturally, we'll play some of Alexa's music in between. So, Alexa, tell me, to just start off, a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today. So, like, what inspired you to become an artist and a community curator? Was there a catalyst moment? Answer all the questions. I know you're from Miami, so we can start there.
Yes, I am from North Miami Beach, Aventura area. Aventura became a city when I think I was like in elementary school. I sang at the Aventura Mall with my elementary school choir.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It's also just, it really was the jumping off point ever since I was a kid. Like, I've always been into creative writing. My grandmother helped build the Hollandale High School library. And so words and lyrics and all these things have just always been something I've loved. And I was in elementary school chorus. I sang middle school. Highland Oaks didn't have a chorus program, so I actually sang with the school bands and sang like Yankee Doodle Dandy and like stuff at special events, Founders Park when they opened the park in Aventura. I got to be at some pretty cool stuff. And then high school happened. I did not join the choir program. I went to Crop. Very, very South Florida.
Crop is like an art school, right?
It has a magnet program.
Okay.
It has a choir magnet program. Friends were in it, and I wasn't in it, but I still was doing poetry. I was part of like the poetry club. And then when I went into college, undergrad, I would do open mic nights. I would sing a cappella, songs I had written. I still remember some of them, but there was just I didn't stop making music, even though I wasn't doing it for any particular reason and still doing the scary things. And then I went to grad school, Emerson College in Boston. I was still writing poetry, going to karaoke nights religiously, moved back, more karaoke nights.
Wait, pause. What did you study in grad school?
Publishing and writing.
Oh, so like music. On the music side? Oh, just in general?
Just regular
writing,
old publishing and writing, the dying book industry that they kept touting while we were getting our education. It was super fun. It is interesting to like enter a program as the professors are talking about how much it's changing and evolving and growing and different. Like the book industry is different, music industry is different.
100%.
I came back from college and I was still writing, and I reconnected with an old friend in like 2015, 2016. My birthday that year, we went out, came back to my apartment, and wrote our first song together. And that was my first band, November May. I did Church Hills, I did all the open mics around. And then that kind of like, the band broke up, I was struggling. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want to go back to not having instruments or, just singing a cappella again. I learned how to play ukulele very minimally.
Okay.
Wrote a song called MIA. And the rest is kind of history. There were, from there to now, there's been obviously a lot of things happening. I wrote a lot of music during the pandemic and stuff.
Right.
But old friends got back together. I started a new band during COVID, Alexa and the Old Fashions, and then realized, and I was just telling this to a friend, I was like, all the women in my life, right? We get to a place where everything is built. Okay, we have our bands, we have this, we have our job, we're doing okay. And then we're like, okay, what's next?
Oh,
And so
girl. Yeah.
that's what ended up being like event curation and like how can I give back to the community and what can I volunteer? What can I do? I just didn't want it to be me making music and me working at a job and then that's it. I wanted to do other things.
So I have so many follow-up questions from there. So I want to ask you about your song MIA.
Yes.
But let's just jump into really quick event curation, right? Because you mentioned kind of how you decided that you wanted to get into that, right? So you're this founder, right, in a sense, when it comes to event curation, and community and things like that, and connecting with community. So what was your first type of event? Like, what was it like? And what did you learn from it? Like, things that you could do better?
So I made like a family with the Better Days crew in downtown Miami. And I had a night there called Bards and Booze, which it was supposed to be kind of like a Words and Wine, but in the downtown area because I was a big fan of the Words and Wine family. Shout out to the Words and Wine family, Nikki and Co. But as far as next steps, I had a Bards and Booze night planned and then the pandemic hit. So during the pandemic, my friend Kiana Major and I, who's also a wonderful musician, created an online open mic that we did every single week. I can't remember what night of the week. I think it was Tuesday nights or Wednesday nights. I can't remember. Every single week for like 2 years straight, I think. 3 years. I don't know. And we became really good friends with all those people. Right. And I loved having that familiarity, something to come back to. And then when we came out of that, I traveled a lot. I went to Nashville for a month. I went to Austin for 3 weeks. So I wanted to do something like Nashville style, Nashville Writers Round. There was already one curated by Juan Turos here and at Bar Nancy, and it was gone for a long time because of the pandemic. And so I wanted to bring that back. So that's now a thing that I do. And then I do Project Serena, which is an all-female night. I have 3 platforms. Do you want me to talk about my 3 platforms?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me about the 3 platforms.
So I tell everybody this when they're applying for anything. Everything's about having a focal point. So I finally figured out my 3 focal points. One is to get more women on stages. The second is to talk about mental health, whether it's through music or just like making people aware that you're not alone in your mental health experiences like depression or anxiety. I know a lot of women in my life have anxiety. We were just talking about it.
Yep.
And the third is the creation of original music and encouraging the creation of original music. Project Serena hits a couple of points. It's a night dedicated to female singer-songwriters at Casa Tiki, Dead Flamingo fam, who just celebrated their 1-year anniversary. And that's once a month. That's the second Wednesday of every month that I do that. And it's just... it doesn't give much, right? Like in terms of, monetary back, it hasn't hit the ground running yet in ways that I want, but you have to take baby steps in a community to build it.
That's very true. Does it fulfill you though?
Right now it does, for sure. As long as I still get that, Alexa, that was like my first gig in so long, I never perform my original stuff. I never get to do this. Like, I'm still hearing that, whether it's the Writers Round or Project Serena, still hearing it. And until that stops, I don't know if I'm going to give it up anytime soon.
I love to hear that. And I think that so aligns with you as an artist, because what's inspiring to me about you is that you've always been... since, maybe there's been like elementary school and choirs and things like that, but you've always been like an original artist, right? So you've always like written your original music and maybe you'll play some covers here and there, but you're predominantly an original artist, right? And so that's where I think we differ because I came from entertainment, doing a lot of cover gigs and things like that. And I really appreciate that about you because I think it does take a lot of bravery, a lot of courage, a lot of vulnerability, right? So all those mental health things that you were talking about, to get to that place, right? So I know that like what held me back was vulnerability and feeling like I wasn't good enough, things weren't perfect. Oh, it's not what I want to sound like, blah blah blah. It's not my sound. I had all these things that held me back, right? But you went into it right away. So I want to ask you about the song that I know that holds like special meaning for you, right? That inspires you and that has a story. So tell me a little bit about your song MIA, which we'll play soon, but tell me
Yes.
about it.
So MIA is about to hit its third iteration because I'm recording it with the band.
Okay.
So the ukulele. So when I first was learning ukulele, you start to learn the basic chords, and how I approached songwriting originally was without any instrumentation. It was all melody based, and I just kind of winged it without a
Uh-huh.
lot of extra fluff. When I started learning the ukulele, I was learning chords, and so you start to learn progressions and play with them. And I had cared about someone who was living in New York City, and the first line that came to me was, I wonder if they're thinking, like, do you ever think of MIA whenever you're in NYC? And sort
Mm.
of just it became this concept of, okay, well, I have friends, relationships, and whether you talk to that person or not, there's a little tiny part of you that is just, when they come to mind, you're like, I wonder if they're ever thinking of me.
Yeah.
And so I wrote this song, and it has a part of it that's very like crowd friendly. Do you ever think of MIA, EA, EA, EA? And so when I was doing the open mics, I would ask everybody to sing it with me, or I would teach them before I started the song.
Smart.
Thank
Yep,
you.
yep. Audience
It
interaction.
it was
Smart.
absolutely not intended originally. It was just this cool idea that I had with the ukulele, and everybody started singing it. Everybody remembered it. Um, and then I was learning guitar and then transferred it to that. And then that was the first song that I played on guitar live because I'd never played guitar before. And so the song has just been like a key. It's
So
unlocked so many different things.
so many firsts for you with this song,
Yes.
right? So like the audience interaction, the ukulele, the guitar. Um, I'm sure it holds a lot of meaning for
Memorability.
you.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, the song, like I said, it's been a key. It really
Right.
has. It's unlocked a lot of things. I played it today, earlier at the Irish bar. It was my last song. And somebody I met through another songwriter night, Chip, he's like, I feel like you just sang that for me because everybody knows it. Like most people know
Ah.
MIA at
Yeah.
this point because I've been singing it since like 20, I don't know, 18, 27. I don't remember when I wrote it, but um, yeah, it's just been unlocked so much, and I'm very grateful for the song.
So that brings up another follow-up question because I was thinking about that. You said you've been playing it since 2018. Do you ever get bored of playing your own songs that are like older?
That's a great question because yes, of
I do too.
course.
Yeah, this wasn't on this question sheet, but
No, but it's absolute. That's the thing is like you hear, I think, what is it, Radiohead with Creep, where they hated playing it or
yeah.
didn't want to play it for so long just
Mhm.
because it had become so overly popular. I'm sure I think there's another story associated with it, but you have to be your biggest fan, right? Because you're your only motivation. When people are being down on you or not listening to you when you're in a bar and everybody's talking over you, you still have to be your biggest supporter.
Right.
And there's songs that I love, and maybe I'll put them down for a minute. I know with ukulele, there were songs I wrote just on the ukulele that I haven't played for so long because I loved playing guitar. Then there's songs I have strictly on piano. So, and then I keep writing. Like even in my boredom, I still keep writing, and then I'll bring them back if I haven't done it in a while. Like I have a song called Every Little Thing That I Do that I played so often during the pandemic because I wrote like 40 songs during the pandemic.
That's incredible.
Thank you. That I was just like, the song is so cheeky, and I just haven't brought it back in so long. And I don't know why. I think because I got sick of playing it.
That
MIA,
makes
I put
sense.
down for a while. I did. Still love playing with it with the band. It's everybody's favorite last song, but
Right.
it's been replaced by my song Workin' So Hard or other songs that have become now like a staple I can play at the end.
Right. I mean, that totally makes sense. Maybe one day you revisit it and create another new version because
I
you
hope
like
so.
to iterate on your songs.
Oh yes, I do.
Um, but speaking of you as an artist, how would you describe your music? Like, what genre are you? What genres do you fall in? I know a lot of us fall into multi-genres. So,
Hmm.
how would you describe it? I think I know how I would describe it, but I want to hear it from you.
So, fun fact for any listeners who don't know about having to submit your music to distribution sites is you have to box yourself
Yep.
into a couple of genres. And it's hard and confusing, and I hate it.
Yeah.
I would say I don't like it very much at all, honestly, because it's the same problem I have with getting booked as well. People have an idea of what your music is. My acoustic music is very much singer songwriter, little bit folky, a
Yep.
little bit spoken word depending on the song, a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. Everything's got like a '90s flat line. If that was a genre, I don't know. '90s is an era, but you can, but it's also kind of a genre at this point.
Yeah,
You can tell when something sounds like it's from the '90s.
I agree.
I was born in '87. Sorry, I'm aging myself. But
Don't
the
be sorry.
'90s is my jam. It's my
Right.
PB and Jam. I there you go.
Brunch.
Um, and so my acoustic stuff falls into that place. When I'm with the band, we rock out, like very much so. It's a lot more alternative indie rock. I have a song called "Smoke" I wrote for a dear friend of mine. I almost forgot that's on my list of songs I love that I'm nostalgic about, but that one's like indie rock. And then I have a song called "Eat You Alive," which is also called the Murder Song, and that one's like I don't even know how to explain that one. It's like rock, but it's storytelling. So it's hard to box myself.
Right.
I don't know where would you put me because I don't even know where I put myself.
I think in all the genres that you said. So like I was thinking like singer songwriter for sure, like folky, indie,
The piano and strings album, I have no idea.
like maybe that's like more classical.
No clue.
Like, but there's like you have a soulful like part of your voice, but it, like you can also get rocky. So I think it's all of those. It's
But
I don't
how do
know,
you
neo-folk.
dumb that down to submission to DistroKid?
I don't
like
know. Indie.
that's what it's
Independent.
just insane. It's insane.
I also want to ask you real quick
Sure.
about your other song here before I play two of your songs. So we're going to play MIA, but I also want to ask you about Baked Apples, which is a song that I really love of yours.
Thank
Tell me a
you.
little bit about that before we get into playing those songs.
I call it the CEEF song because it's mostly CEEF. So this was also during that time we don't talk about. I've like said it 17 million times now. I was sitting down to write a song, and I'm like, my mom and like other people in my life have been complaining that a lot of my songs are sad,
Yeah, I've been there.
unintentionally sad. I wrote a song recently called "I'm So Tired All the Time." It has officially made at least two people cry inadvertently. I get it, but at the same time, I'm actually not fully understanding why.
Right.
Anyway, so I sat down. I'm like, I'm going to write a happy song. Now, if you've listened to Baked Apples, yes, I'm singing about my grandmother, my grandma, my dad's mom. She pretty much took care of me and raised me till I was like 8 or 9 years old. And I grew up with my grandparents. And I sat down to write this happy song, and I thought of all the people and things that made me happy. And I missed my grandma very much. And I was thinking about her and making me smile. And like, I sit down and I write this nostalgic kind of anthem to my grandma because she used to make baked apples for me when I was a kid. Like, I would help her in the kitchen. I'd be standing on those little step stools.
Sounds so good.
Oh, they smelled
I
amazing.
can smell it. I
Oh,
can smell it. I was thinking about apple juice today. So
there's a special apple that you need to do baked apples and stuff. I don't know the recipe. I actually dislike cooking very much.
Okay.
So shout out to
I
my
won't ask
boyfriend,
you.
Marcel, who cooks, thankfully.
Shout out to you, Marcel. You need to make Alexa some baked apples.
Right? I need to get a recipe. And the song is sad and nostalgic, and I find it to be beautiful. I'm like, I wrote this song, and it makes me. You talked about listening to yourself. Baked apples just makes me feel a certain way. Like every time I'm listening to it, I distance myself from the music enough to listen to it with my whole heart. Like that song is everything to me. I am so glad I wrote it. It's all imagery from my grandparents. It's all imagery from their house. It's baked apples and looking at the ceiling and her reading to me at night to go to sleep. Like, they're all little bits of memories with her. And it's a happy song, but it's not. It's I miss her, and that's
Right.
song is about missing her.
Yeah, nostalgic. And, like you said, as you were describing it, it's a piece of art, right? It makes you feel something. And that's what art is supposed to do. So without further ado, let's listen to it. First, we have Baked Apples, and then we're going to listen to MIA, the ukulele version by Alexa Lash, and then we'll be back.
Tears, but allowed me to cry, made me comfortable in my own skin. Baked apples and elephants, your hands on my shoulders. I stood on my toes so you'd reach me. I wish you were here, now that I am much older. So much I know you could teach me about life. Sleep, put my back when I'm scared of the dark. No matter the nightmare, you chased it away, kept the monsters from stealing my spark. I look to the ceiling, pretend that it's you, and suspend disbelief for a minute. And when I feel lost and don't know what to do, I look to my heart, 'cause you're in it. Hope for life, for life, for life, for life. to be. Recalling you had felt like home. I prayed that it'd be easier to pretend we never met. But it's times like this I'm crying out while I try hard to forget. Do you ever think of MIA whenever you're in NYC? And when you hear a voice like mine on the train, sometimes do you think of me? Do you ever think of MIA? People living out our busy lives. We have to focus on what's best for us, what it takes just to survive. We're running out of time these days, counting minutes, counting years. It's a wonder we paid attention to the world that brought us here. Do you ever think of MIA whenever you're in NYC? When you hear a voice like mine on the train, sometimes do you think of me? Do you ever think of MIA? Do you ever think of MIA? Ooh, 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 yeah. Come back someday, though you were never really gone. I can't forgive you for those things you said. I can't accept that you moved on. But do you ever think of MIA whenever you're in NYC? And when you hear a voice like mine on the train, sometimes do you think of me? Do you ever think of MIA? And when you hear a voice like mine on a stage, sometimes oh, you hope it's me.
That was MIA, and before that we had Baked Apples by Alexa Lash. You can kind of hear all those different genres that she's playing around with in those recordings, right? So just even more multi-hyphenate than I introduced you as. But let's chat a little bit more about your music career. So on this break, I was asking you, like, do you have any rituals or habits that you have before recording or performing? So what are those?
So there's
What are those?
there's a couple. So I didn't even realize I had a ritual because I used to bowl when I was in high school, and my ritual was that I had a special towel, and if anybody moved it, I would get really upset about it.
Ah.
Insane.
Okay, superstition.
Superstition. Very superstitious.
Writings on the wall.
So my new, I guess, sort of rituals that I have are that before I sing now, I make like a special drink, which is just either my vitamin mix, like an emergency, plus one of those hydrating packets. I forgot what they're called. They're like liquid IV or something.
Okay.
That's not what they're called. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, and then this thing called like Vocal 37 or 57. It's like an herbal supplement that's supposed to help with your vocals.
It's like Heinz 57.
Only. Are you one of the people who knows to?
I know because
Okay.
of UX design. That's how I know.
It is such a
It's
good
a very-
idea.
it's
They
a-
marketed their UX UI design, and it's beautiful.
That's like a common, very standard case that you learn about in UX design with like good UX and bad UX.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, but back to Vocal 3757.
Yes. So it's just this like supplement that I've been trying out. And then I'm always encouraged to drink more water because I really don't do that enough when I'm home. So it's just my way of making sure I'm hydrated, making sure my pipes are taken care of. And then when I come home from a gig, the first thing I do is make tea with honey. I try not to skip a beat on that, even if I'm exhausted, because taking care of your vocal cords is really important. And like, I don't want to have nodes and all those crazy stories that my friends have. And
Right.
you can't always avoid the inevitable, but you can at least put some stuff off.
Well, it's like it's a muscle, it's like it's a
Mhm.
body part. You can't see it, but you got to take care of it. I've lost my
Mhm.
voice many times because I feel like I've just overworked it. So yeah, it's really important to take care of your vocal cords.
Or just knowing my body. Like, I have allergies and I had them for many years, not realizing what was really actually wrong with me. And so now if I feel any kind of mucus or anything come up, I'm like, I take my allergy pill, I get ahead of it, I make sure I change out the air filter in my apartment. And if you were thinking about changing your air filter and you have allergies, once a month, guys, not once every 3, once a month. And
Smart. I have like 3 new ones sitting in my
Same.
hallway. Yeah.
And then my other thing that I do ritualistically, I guess at this point, I record at the Shack in Hialeah with Fernie Quapel, and it became a thing to like get myself in the vibe or energy to have my drink now, my tea. I also have tea before I go to the studio, because I think my throat gets a little dry when I'm nervous or something, or
Okay.
anxious about singing something that I know is going to be a little bit more permanent than other things.
Right.
But I take off my shoes, and oftentimes we turn the lights down as low as we can go without me not being able to see anything.
Turn your lights down low.
So some of the songs you may hear on some of my albums, especially Heartbreak and Movements, because it was hard for me to sing without playing piano for those songs. And so I had to he put a board on top of the piano, and I fake played while I sang to have the same energy that I would have when I would normally play. And we turned the lights off, so I was like vibing.
Okay.
Also, it's the 2-year anniversary of that release, so happy birthday to Heartbreak and Movements.
Alexa, how many albums do you have?
I don't know. Sage and Wine, I guess, is an EP. Already Not the Same with Baked Apples on it. And then Heartbreak and Movements, I guess 3.
Okay.
And then a bunch of singles.
That's a lot of work, but
I love the studio.
I love that.
I love it so much.
I love the studio too. I feel like I'm not in it enough, but you manifest this vibe, right? When you're in the studio.
Manifesting.
And you.
By the way, speaking of the studio, if you ever visit the Shack North, I recorded Baked Apples there. And
Okay.
my grandparents had a lot of art in their house. A lot of it's like stitch work. Anyway, I donated one of the pieces to the studio. So anytime I'm in there, not only is it the studio I love to go to, but it feels like home, and it always reminds me of her and the song every time I'm there.
That's incredible. Look at you manifesting everything. I know
Right.
we were just talking about that,
We were
right?
just
So
talking
not
about
only do you
manifestation.
manifest being comfortable in the studio, right, with the lights off and setting the vibe, but you also manifest this feeling of home by bringing in some art that's meaningful to you, and I'm sure helps other people too. Tell me a little bit more about the manifestation kick that you're on right now.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. I love that.
So the literal aspect of manifestation, right? Because a lot of it's like, there's a lot of people who think it's very woo-woo, but really it's all it is goal setting.
Yeah.
You're saying, I want to do this thing, preferably sooner rather than later. And I'm going to say yes to every opportunity that may lead me in that direction. I'm going to go to events where I might meet a person who's going to put me in that scenario.
Exactly.
I'm going to treat others with the amount of respect that when they think of me later, they're going to hopefully recommend me or whatever the case may be. I know for me, when I was traveling a lot, one of the things I wanted to do was collaborate more. There were 2 things. I wanted to play a festival, and I wanted to collaborate more, and that was last year. I ended up playing the Miami Book Fair. I ended up playing my first festival, Art With Me, and then I started working on other people's music or with
Right.
other people's music.
Mhm.
Hillary and the Skeletons in My Corset project. Song just came out for that called Egregious Error. And, so I was like, oh, this is real. This is happening. So even just this past week, the whole idea of manifestation, like I was just saying to the universe, like, I really need more music gigs. And I got a last minute gig to play at an Irish bar today. And this was like last week, And then I wanted to be in a cover band, but not be the person booking and responsible for everything because I'm responsible for so much already. Like
Yeah,
I need
feel that.
anything else. And I got a call to sing with a cover band at the end of the month at Voodoo Bayou with First Call. I got the national anthem. A friend recommended me, and I got to sing at the Unrivaled game like a week ago, and that was nerve wracking. But anyway, neither here nor there. The point is like you need, the only way things are gonna happen is if you try, right? If you never
Right.
pick up that instrument, if you never go to that event, if you never pick up that book, if you never listen to your friend's advice and like try it out once, you're just never gonna know what's gonna happen. You're always gonna be in this like forever state of FOMO, doom scrolling and watching other people live out their lives and their dreams.
100%. If you don't ask for what you want in life, you don't get it.
No.
And then you have to
Girls
work
need to-
towards it.
Women, ask for
Believe
that
in
raise.
It. Yeah, you have to you have to do that. You have to fail fast, you have to fail forward and just get up and keep trying, because I would personally rather live a life where it's just like I tried and failed rather than wonder because I never tried.
Exactly.
So, I 100% believe in that, and I love that you're manifesting so many things right now, and then you continue to do that because it just takes trust and belief in yourself in order to get to that place, right?
I mess up a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like I know that people don't see it that much. Also, like I get exhausted by social media. Like if I had a choice and didn't have to ever use it, I wouldn't.
Same. I always say the same thing. I'm like, oh well, I just need it because of like what I'm doing and you know who I am and want to be and things like that. But like I recently actually like deleted a lot of the apps
I moved it to the back.
off
It's the
my
back
phone.
of my phone.
Yeah. And I check online, and like when I have to post, I re-download so I can post. But it's really helped me because it's just like I'm able to focus on what I want my life to be and what I want my goals to be, and really move forward on those rather than like comparing my life to other people or just watching stories and doom scrolling. You know, because
It
it's,
makes you feel bad about
yeah,
yourself.
doomsday.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, when you actually make a list of the things you did in a given week, maybe even it's that you rested. Like you and I talked about
Right.
needing rest at some
Schedule a rest day.
point. Right. Schedule a rest day.
Ridiculous.
But if you look at everything that you've done, even if it's calling a friend and talking to them for an hour,
Important.
if you make a
Mhm.
list of all the things you did in a given week, it's probably way more than you realized you were even doing.
Yeah.
Like I look back at my accomplishments. I look at the things. 2024 was a huge year for me. Like in terms of things that I accomplished. Like I won a contest. That was so cool. You know, I had the songwriter thing. I was voted Miami New Times Songwriter of the
Yep.
Year. You know,
Mhm.
the journalism.
Yeah, this girl has
interesting.
accolades. If you didn't know, just look her up. Alexa Lash. You'll find
But
it.
2025, I have no idea what it's going to bring, but I am going to record the band album this year. I have a couple songs coming out with friends. I have a project called Love Logic. We with my friend Pedro, that we released a song already this year. Like, I've done a lot, and I'm going to do a lot in 2025, and I need to stop being so freaking hard on myself.
I totally agree with that because it's like it's hard for us to recognize what we've done unless we're like keeping a tally of it. So like I've seen different like things that I've tried to do. I like didn't really keep up with it, but it's like every win that you get or every manifestation that you get, write it down on a little piece of paper and put it in a jar.
Oh, that's a good idea.
At the end of the year, you look at all your wins and everything that you manifested, all the goals you accomplished. Like, you know, it's like saving money, right? Every day, put a dollar or whatever change you have in the jar. But it's like writing down your wins
Turn that
because
into a book.
yeah, a little coffee table book.
Eso. Sorry, my minimal Spanish.
No, don't say sorry.
My step family's Colombian. Shout out to them. The Lashes.
Yeah, that's so
Uh,
funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great thing to do. And like I said, I didn't keep up with that, but you recently encouraged me, right, to apply for this grant, an artist grant.
Heck yes.
I was feeling totally overwhelmed, and you were like, "It's okay," and I was like, "Thank you." And I redid my whole resume because I really work well under pressure. I had less than like 24 hours to finish this, and it lit a fire under my ass, and so I ran. And I ended up with this 4-page resume, like which is a long resume, and it didn't even include everything.
And
It's like
guess
all
what
these
you
things
won't
that I
have to do next
accomplished.
year.
Make a
'Cause
resume.
you already did it.
Because now I'm updating it every time that something happens. It's just like, okay, good. I am like on the train now, you know, and like the train's not gonna stop moving. So this was really helpful for me to see like what I've done. But speaking about things that you know, we've done, I know you started to talk about it a little bit. So what's next for you? I know you said you're recording an album, like both in music and event curation.
Mhm.
What projects, what things do you have coming up that you can tell the people?
So definitely the band album. My band is called the Lex and the Old Fashions. I started it at Bar Nancy, so it's named
She's
after
a whiskey girl.
my favorite drink, which I haven't been drinking as much, which everybody should do things in moderation.
Yes.
Okay. So the band album is a lot of work. I've actually been meeting the past couple Sundays with band members to lay down this kind of the skeleton, what's used to record from, essentially. Basically to save time and costs in studio. Now, already knowing the layout of the song and what we want to do, and just talking through what we might need to address as far as production goes. So it's just been a really nice learning process. I love my bandmates. Like, it's a great experience recording an album. I love being in studio. Like, if I could just live in the studio and didn't have to eat or breathe or make money to survive, I would do that.
Yeah. Ditto.
As far as other things, like, I definitely want to collaborate more this year. So whatever iteration of that is, I'm gonna work towards that. I just want the music to continue to support itself. I want more. I think because I did something last week. I spoke on a panel for a volunteer organization I'm part of. I want to do more with my volunteer organization, Musicians on Call. I'm a volunteer musician with them, and I want to do more with them this year. That's something that's on my list. And then
It shall be manifested.
right, I also got to be on a panel because of them. And the panel experience, I love talking about the craft. I love songwriting. I love talking about what you could be doing and getting people excited about their own stuff. My friend calls me chispa, and it's the concept for my next tattoo.
Love it.
It's the Spanish word for spark, and I want to keep sparking people into doing things they love, like
Sparking joy.
right. That was a whole thing, right? Like, does this spark joy? And then we got
Right.
rid of it if we didn't. We got rid
Right,
of a
Marie
lot of
Kondo in the
boyfriends that way.
house. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
We need a drummer
Um,
in here.
right.
Call your drummer.
So I want to do more speaking events, speaking opportunities. I like talking about songwriting and art and ways that you can kind of navigate yourself into different spaces with your experience. It's my specialty, even at the job outside of music. Like, I've helped place people into places where they're most strong, like they have a very strong set of skills and where they're most appropriate. Like, it's
Right.
one of my, I consider it a superpower. I think it's cool to know where people can go and do better for themselves.
Right. Yeah, just leading people in the right direction. It's like, it's mentorship.
Yeah, I like it. I do.
I agree. I agree. I like mentorship as well. It's like part of one of the fundamentals that you also inspired me to create. Like, what do I stand for? Mentorship and education.
Let's have a focus.
Yeah, like, and I like had to think about it. I was like, well, what do I stand for? How can I put that into 3 or 4 main themes, and I was like, well, this is what it looks like from my Instagram. This is what it looks like from my music and my experience and like things like that. So yeah, mentorship and education is definitely one of my my guiding principles. So
You're a hyphen, like hyphen,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, it's hard sometimes to think about where that thread is.
Right.
But that's why you start with one, but don't go more than like 5,
yeah,
because you will lose focus.
totally.
And it's just, there's a thread to everything.
I was
It's
thinking
like
about that
in a
today,
book,
yeah.
there's usually a theme. People tend to navigate elsewhere when there isn't one thing to focus on. I mean,
That's so
social
true.
media is built off that.
Yep.
So
So true. Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I was like, I think I need to cut a couple things down.
it's okay to
so
trim.
I could focus. Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
to grow. It's not a lot of the time. It's not about adding. It's about subtracting.
And boy, I'm telling you this as someone who like hires people and stuff, or has hired people and stuff. AI, right? I'm
Right.
just going to address it. Obviously, it can be a very helpful resource in
Right.
some aspects, but don't use it to write your stuff for music and everything. Use it as a jumping off point,
Right.
but still add your voice, right? Don't
Totally.
lose your voice. Just as much as you need a theme and a thread, you also need your voice to come through in applications and grants.
The authenticity.
Grant
Yeah.
applications, your interviews. Like, if your language is super dry, I can tell you when something's been written by AI versus a person. They see it. So just be careful that you're not overusing technology to make up for your own originality.
That answered a question that I was going to ask you anyway about technology. So thank you for asking that one.
No problem. I just feel like I need to get out of the way because I used an AI program actually because I was having so much trouble bucketing myself. There's an AI program that will analyze your song and tell you what
genre it is.
What genre
I think
is
I've
best.
used this before, yeah.
And for stuff like that, that makes sense. I can't figure it out. No one else can figure it out with me. Let me use the internet
What
to
does the
help me
data
find
say?
my way. Exactly.
Yeah.
Data analytics and how it can inform, you know, what you have to do, especially if they're going to force you into a box. It's different if like you had open, like.
Right. It's not open waters all the time.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank you. I couldn't think of the word waters.
It's okay. I know you have to drink more water, so there you go.
There you go. I see. It's right here.
Drink more water.
You know, I played at an Irish bar today. I did not have whiskey or beer today, so I'm only water.
It's a water day on this St. Patrick's 2025. St. Patrick, I'm
Should I
sure he
brought
drank
green
water too.
dye?
You can do that when you get home. All right, Alexa, I have a question. I have a section here called Strange Questions. This is not
I'm
the
a
rapid
strange
fire.
woman, so let's go.
This is not the rapid fire.
This is not the rapid fire. Okay.
No. I'm just going to ask you a few strange questions. All right. If your music was a color, what color would it be and why?
That's a really good question. It is. I know it's strange, but
They're maybe just like offbeat questions, maybe not so strange.
yeah.
Uncommon questions.
Uncommon questions. I think if it was a color, if my music was a color, it would probably be like that opal white because every time you look at it, it's a different color.
Interesting.
I know
Okay,
it's not
like
really
you get the reflection, like that rainbow-esque, like
Yeah.
yeah.
That I would say that because it's like pearlescent a little bit, and when
word,
the light hits,
pearlescent, yeah.
when the light hits it, it's always different.
I love that. That's such a great response.
I don't even know how I came up with that
Because
on
you're
the fly
smart.
like this.
You are smart and you know
Oh my gosh.
yourself.
Yeah.
All right. If your music was a flavor, what would it taste like?
Airheads.
Airheads.
The white airhead.
The white
mystery
airhead. Okay.
airhead.
Everything is
Everything's
okay.
a mystery.
I
I'm just
love
kidding.
that.
I don't know why I
The
thought of
mystery
airheads.
airhead.
I've been like 90s. I'm just going like 90s candy
I mean,
route.
it all fits though. You like it sounds 90s. Like it has a pearlescent. You can't really put it in the box. Like Airheads is the mystery flavor. Like it's there. It's in you, you know? It's just coming out cuz I'm asking you these odd questions. Let's see what else.
Keep questions strange.
I am going to keep questions strange.
I was talking to somebody about Austin, and their slogan is "Keep Austin."
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, it's a real thing. They sell the merch in the airports.
Yeah,
Like,
I know.
They're all proud of it.
I didn't
guys.
think it was that weird, but I think it's probably just weird for Texas.
I loved Austin.
I liked Austin too.
Ugh.
If you were a musical instrument or a plug-in, which one would you be?
Ooh. That was an instrument. You know, I would probably say I would be some kind of string section if I wasn't, because it's so emotive. Like
Yeah.
anytime I'd be a cello.
A cello.
I don't know. I love the deep sounds of that instrument. Like every time I hear one, it makes me cry. I'm an emotional person already. It's very easy to make me tear up. Like just put me in front of any movie or something that has any kind of sad part and I will cry. But cello, just the sounds of it. Like I remember insisting on having it, and that Piano and Strings album was like all purely a selfish need to have strings on an album. Like,
Love that.
Oh my God. Belinda Stoner and Jose Prados, thank you. They were the musicians on that. Jose's the cello player.
Isn't all music like a selfish? Isn't it selfish? Like, is it selfish? It's
Also,
selfish and
cellos are
selfless.
curvy, and I'm curvy.
There we go. It's got a fat ass. I actually had another. I had another person on the show, and I was doing some this or that questions with her.
Yeah?
And she said the instrument that she wanted to be maybe a bass or something. And she's like, yeah, because it's something and it has a fat ass. I was like,
That's
okay,
hilarious.
great. In the best way possible, of course.
I mean, bass is so underrated.
Yeah,
as a
it's
general
my favorite instrument. But I was just thinking, like, is releasing music the creative process, like wanting to release, is that selfish anyway, or selfless? You know, because we have to do it.
The panel I was on the other day, I was talking about the musicians on call organization and why I was doing it. It's because music, it feels like such a selfish practice.
Yeah.
And if you're given a gift of any kind, like being able to use that to create community or give back feels like necessary. Especially like right now, just in the world, I need to feel like I'm giving back. I need to feel like empathy exists.
It's fulfilling for sure.
Yeah.
The art of giving.
Hashtag empathy
it's
is
an
a
art.
strength.
Yes, it is for sure.
Hashtag.
All right. The last oddball question. Well, maybe not so oddball, but what's the most unusual fan interaction or fan gift you've ever received?
Oh, fan interact. Well, I mean, I had a funny one, like literally yesterday, 2 days ago. Well, I guess my favorite. Her name is Moira. My boyfriend is a music director at a school of rock, and apparently he got like a student who knew me. So it was almost like it felt like I was a celebrity or something.
You are.
No, but it's just a really cool thing. It's not necessarily a gift or anything, but when she found out that her instructor was dating me, it was just like a big deal, kind of. I also had spoken on that panel last week. It's been more serendipitous, I think, than like weird or interesting, unique fan interactions. It's just been a lot of serendipity, right? Like that's serendipitous. This other thing was super serendipitous. Is that I spoke at that panel last week, and then my friend Ashley McKibben hosted a photography exhibit, and one of the attendees who worked with Ashlyn at some point had attended the
panel,
panel, and recognized me, and she was like, "I'm such a big fan," and I'm like, "This is so cool."
I love that. Yeah,
I felt like a
that.
celeb again for like 2 seconds, and it's just the feeling of being recognized. It's hard to describe. I mean, for famous people who are always recognized, it must be a completely different thing. But when you're just starting and feeling like you don't know where you're going, it's so reaffirming.
I 100% align with that feeling. I've been having those experiences recently as well.
Nice. Rightfully so.
Yeah, thank you. But I definitely align with that.
It's so cool.
All right. So, I want you to tell the people where they can find you and stalk you and support you.
Stalk away.
Before we do a quick this or that.
Sure. So I'm on all the social medias. Everything is under Alexa Lash Music. That's Alexa like a company. Lash like your eye music. And then I also have my band Instagram, which is Alexa and spelled out the old fashions with an S at the end on Instagram. I have Facebook and all the other things. Instagram will take you to my link tree, which will take you to literally everything else.
Perfect. So she's on the internets. You can find her everywhere on the interwebs.
You're so easy to talk to.
Oh, thank you so much. So are you. I wish I could ask you so many more questions, but let's go ahead and close out with this, and then we'll officially close out with one of your other songs.
Oh, I don't know which one you're gonna pick.
I don't know either. Let's see. All right. So this is rapid fire, this or that. Kind of like first thing that comes to your mind.
Don't worry. Third time doing it.
Okay. Great.
It's the charm.
It's the charm.
The Wookiee charms.
Okay. Yes, there we go. She's back to being Irish. Okay, so.
I'm sorry if I offended any Irish people. I don't want to do that.
I think they appreciate your apology. Just in case you did. I don't think you did, though. All right, so writing lyrics or composing melodies?
Ooh. Oh, man. I can't say both.
I mean, I guess you can.
I kind of say both.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Studio recording or live performance?
Studio recording.
Acoustic set or full band?
Full bands.
Headlining a show or curating an event?
Headlining. Because I just haven't really, I mean, I've gotten to do it, but like not the kind of, I think we're talking about.
Okay. Festivals or intimate gigs?
Intimate gigs.
Freestyling a song or planning it out?
Ooh, freestyling.
Morning songwriting session or late night inspiration?
Late night inspo.
Vinyl or streaming?
Ooh, vinyl.
Collaborating or solo creating?
Lately, I'm going to say collaborating.
Folk or soul music?
Folk.
Indoor venue or outdoor festival?
Indoor because we're in Florida.
Smart. Small exclusive event or massive crowd?
I haven't had that experience, so massive crowd.
Okay. Themed event or free flowing vibe?
Themed events make more money, guys.
Smart. Got to make a living.
Seriously.
Featured artists or open mic?
Oh, well, shit. Sorry. Eeks.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay, cool. Okay, for the children. Not anymore. I think curated at this point.
Okay, curated. Okay. High energy party or chill intimate vibe?
Chill intimate vibe. I have social anxiety.
Got it. Makes sense. Red carpet glam or laid back aesthetic?
Laid back aesthetic.
Hosting the event or just enjoying it?
I wish I could just enjoy it more often.
So, okay, a bit of both.
Yeah.
All right. So those are my rapid fire this or that
That was
questions.
awesome.
Thank you.
Some of them were tough. That first one was tough because I like doing both so much.
You don't have to choose between the two as long as you just
No,
plan
but
it out.
I mean, you could tell I love lyric writing, but
Yeah.
melody writing comes pretty naturally to me, and I'm very grateful for that skill. I didn't know it was a skill until it was pointed out to me that that's a skill.
Right.
I just thought all musicians thought like that.
Totally. Yeah, I agree.
They don't.
They don't. No, I was one of those that didn't. When I first started, all my melodies were very linear. Like, I didn't really change. They were monotone. And I had to really get better at writing melodies.
If you were to write a melody for the Jolt, what do you think that would sound like?
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Jolt has a melody. Well, not really. I guess it has just a lightning sound.
Oh, yeah. Meow.
Yeah, it's like a little robot. It's like.
So it could be
Sounds
like
like
kind
that.
of like Beastie Boys, like maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like Jolt has so many different kinds of artists and people that play here. I don't know. I think it.
Beastie Boys kind of vibe, I think for sure. Like the beginning of that one song, I just terribly couldn't imitate it, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The,
I
like,
do remember that song.
with-
Maybe
I think there was Godzilla or something like fighting each other
I don't remember,
in the video.
or maybe the cover art. I don't really remember,
Yeah.
but maybe Jolts is gonna have an additional theme song soon. Let's see about
Hashtag get jolted.
it. All right, so we're gonna close out with another one of your songs. Thank you all so much for tuning in to PBnJam episode 10. We are back next month. Alexa Lash, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
coming.
Emily.
I had a great time chatting with you, learning about all the things and learning more about you. You're accomplished, and you're doing so many great things. So remember to celebrate yourself every day and to plan a rest day every week. All right, you all. Let's go with. Oh, okay. Help me choose. Either "Fuck That Noise" or "Woman."
You should choose. No, woman. You know
It's
what?
Women's Month.
Theme of the year.
That's what I was thinking
Yeah,
of. Okay.
Theme of the year.
This is "Woman" by Alexa Lash. Thank y'all. See you next week or next month.